It doesn't start with something obvious. There's no loud cry, no sudden collapse, no moment that screams something is wrong. It begins quietly, so quietly that most people miss it. Maybe your cat doesn't greet you at the door the way they used to. Maybe the house feels just a little more silent than before. And you tell yourself it's nothing. Just a mood. Just a phase. Just one of those days. But what if it's not? What if the small change you brushed off this morning is actually the beginning of something your cat has been trying to tell you for weeks? Because here's the truth most people never realize until it's too late. Cats don't show pain the way we do. They don't cry out. They don't limp dramatically. They don't look at you and ask for help. Instead, they hide it. They bury it deep inside themselves, acting as normal as they possibly can, even when something is very, very wrong. It's not stubbornness. It's instinct. Long before they lived in our homes, cats survived by staying invisible when they were weak. In the wild, showing pain doesn't get you sympathy. It gets you killed. And that instinct never disappeared. It's still there inside your cat even now, even when they're curled up safely in your home. So when something hurts, they don't show it. They adapt. They change, just slightly at first. So slightly that you barely notice. Until one day you realize something feels off, and you can't quite explain why. I didn't understand this either. Not until I learned what those small changes actually meant. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. The first sign is something every cat owner hears every day, but almost no one questions. Your cat's voice. Cats talk. Some more than others, but every cat has a rhythm, a pattern, a way they communicate with you. You learn it without even thinking. The little sounds they make when they want food. The soft meow when they jump beside you. The way they respond when you call their name. Now imagine that changing. Not slightly, but noticeably. Maybe your cat starts meowing more than usual. Not the soft, casual sounds you're used to, but something different. Louder. Sharper. More urgent. Over and over again, like they're trying to tell you something you're not understanding. It's easy to get annoyed. Easy to assume they're just being needy or dramatic. But what if that sound isn't just noise? What if it's pain? Because when something hurts, when something inside them isn't right, your cat will try to communicate the only way they can. And for a while, they'll keep trying. Until they don't. And that's the part that should really scare you. Because sometimes it goes the other way. The cat that used to greet you stops. The one that used to answer you goes quiet. The little conversations you had every day disappear without warning. And at first it might even seem peaceful. Like your cat has just become calmer, more relaxed. But that silence? That's not peace. That's withdrawal. That's your cat shutting down, pulling inward, conserving energy, hiding what they're going through because every instinct inside them is telling them to stay unnoticed. In the wild, a quiet, weak animal survives longer than a loud one. So they go silent. And the worst part is, this change doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly day by day until it becomes the new normal. And by the time most people realize something is wrong, it's already been wrong for a long time. Your cat has been speaking to you this entire time. Just not in a way you were taught to hear. And this is only the beginning. Because the next sign looks completely harmless. Something you've probably seen 100 times and never thought twice about. But once you understand what it really means, you'll never look at it the same way again. It starts with something so small, you almost feel silly even noticing it. Your cat isn't where they usually are. At first, it doesn't seem like a big deal. Maybe they're not on the couch tonight. Maybe they didn't jump onto the bed. Maybe you haven't seen them for a few hours, but you tell yourself they're around somewhere. Cats do that, right? They like their space. They disappear, then come back like nothing happened. So you don't think twice. Until it keeps happening. You begin to notice the empty spots more often. The places they loved, untouched. The routines you shared, quietly fading away. And instead, your cat starts choosing places they never cared about before. Under the bed. Inside a closet. Behind furniture. Corners of the house that feel darker, quieter, farther away from everything. And you still tell yourself it's normal. But deep down, something doesn't feel right. Because this isn't your cat being independent. This is your cat disappearing. When a cat is in pain, or feels vulnerable in any way, something ancient wakes up inside them. A survival instinct that doesn't ask questions, doesn't wait for comfort, doesn't trust safety. It simply acts. Hide. Find somewhere dark. Somewhere isolated. Somewhere no one can see you. Because in the wild, being seen while you're weak is the most dangerous thing you can be. So they make themselves invisible. Not because they want to leave you, but because every instinct in their body is trying to protect them from something you can't even see yet. And the heartbreaking part? They don't understand that you're not a threat, that you're the one who would help them if you knew. So they suffer, alone, just a few feet away from you. Hours turn into days. Days turn into weeks. And the longer it goes unnoticed, the deeper they retreat into those hidden spaces both physically and emotionally. By the time most people realize what's happening, their cat has already been struggling for far too long. And then, there's another change. One that's right in front of your eyes every single day, but somehow still goes unnoticed. Your cat stops taking care of themselves. It doesn't happen all at once. It's gradual. Almost invisible at first. Maybe their fur looks just a little less smooth than usual. Maybe it feels slightly rough when you pet them. Easy to ignore. Easy to blame on dust, weather, or just one of those things. But then it gets worse. The soft, clean coat they once kept perfect without effort starts to lose its shine. Small tangles begin to form, especially near the back, close to the tail. Areas they used to groom constantly slowly get neglected. And this isn't laziness. Cats don't just stop caring for no reason. Grooming is a huge part of who they are. It's comfort. It's routine. It's instinct. A healthy cat will spend hours every single day keeping themselves clean without even thinking about it. So when that stops, something is very wrong. Sometimes it's because they physically can't do it anymore. Pain in their joints makes it hard to bend, to stretch, to reach the places they always could before. Even something as simple as turning their body becomes uncomfortable, maybe even unbearable. Other times, it's deeper than that. It's not just physical. When a cat is overwhelmed, when their body is fighting something, when they're exhausted in a way we can't see, they begin to shut down. Slowly, quietly, piece by piece. And grooming is one of the first things to go. Because when you're struggling just to feel okay, taking care of yourself becomes the last thing on your mind. So their coat tells the story they can't. Dull, matted, unkempt. A silent signal that something inside them has been wrong, for longer than you think. And by the time it becomes obvious, by the time you run your hand over their fur and feel the difference clearly, this didn't just start yesterday. It's been building, quietly, patiently, while life around them carried on like everything was fine. But the next sign, this one is different. This one is something you can see instantly, if you know where to look. And once you notice it, it will stop you cold. There's something about a cat's eyes that feels almost magical. They're always watching, always aware. Bright, focused, alive with curiosity. You can tell when your cat is alert just by looking at them. Their eyes are open, clear, steady, like nothing escapes their attention. Now imagine that changing. Not into sleepiness, not into calm, but into something heavier. Something off. You look at your cat and their eyes aren't fully open anymore. They're half closed like they're too tired to hold them up, but it's not the kind of tired that comes from a long nap in the sun. It's different. There's no peace in it. No comfort. Just strain. And maybe if you look closely, you see something else. A pale, almost ghost-like layer creeping in from the corner of their eye. Something that was never visible before, now quietly making itself known. It's easy to miss. Easy to dismiss. They're just sleepy, you tell yourself, but they're not. Because when a cat's body is under real stress, when something inside them isn't right, their eyes start to reveal it long before anything else does. That half-closed look isn't relaxation, it's discomfort. It's pain they can't escape, slowly weighing them down. And that pale layer, the one most people don't even know exists? It only shows itself when something is seriously wrong. Infection, fever, pain that has gone too far. Your cat won't say it out loud, but their eyes will. And if you see it, even once, it's not something to wait on. It's not something to watch for a day or two. Because by the time their eyes are showing it, their body has already been fighting for longer than you realize. And then we come to the last sign. The one that looks the most ordinary, and yet carries the most danger. It's just the litter box. Something your cat uses every single day. Something so routine, so normal that you barely pay attention anymore. Until one day, something feels different. Your cat goes into the litter box, and stays there. At first, it doesn't seem strange. Maybe they're just taking their time. Maybe they got distracted. But then it happens again. And again. They go in, sit, strain, and nothing really happens. Or maybe just a few drops. You might not even notice the first time. Or the second. But your cat feels it every second. Because inside their body, something is wrong in a way that cannot fix itself. They're trying, and trying, and trying, but nothing is coming out. And with every moment that passes, it gets worse. This isn't discomfort. This is an emergency. When a cat can't pass urine, when it becomes blocked, everything inside them begins to shut down. Toxins that should leave the body start building up instead. Pressure rises, pain intensifies, and time becomes the most dangerous factor of all. Your cat may cry while trying. They may lick themselves constantly, trying to soothe something they don't understand. Their stomach may feel tight, sensitive, painful to even the slightest touch. And still, they won't come to you and say, "Help me." They'll just keep going back to that litter box, hoping this time it will work. But it won't. And this is the moment where everything depends on you. Not later. Not after you keep an eye on it. No. Because this is one of the few situations where waiting even a single day can cost your cat their life. Especially for male cats, where this happens faster and more often than most people ever realize. And the hardest truth of all? Every single one of these signs, the voice, the hiding, the coat, the eyes, the litter box, they've been there. Quietly. Patiently. Repeating themselves over and over again. Your cat has been speaking to you this entire time. Not with words, but with behavior. With silence. With small changes that are easy to ignore, until they're not. They don't expect you to be perfect. They don't expect you to catch everything instantly. But they do depend on you to notice when something isn't right. Because you are their safety. Their protection. Their only chance at getting the help they can't ask for. So the next time something feels off, even slightly, don't brush it away. Look closer. Listen harder. Because now, you know. And sometimes, knowing is the difference between catching something in time and wishing you had.